Man, I'm all over the place for him. I told you I got him on one of my teams, right? Because I'm looking at him as somebody who look. I don't think we ever see that top five producer again. I know he's not old. And I think I saw something somewhere
He about to hit the
like
30 mark in a little while. He old enough.
that's not old for like great wide
Wide
receivers.
receiver,
You and I need to talk about your ageism at some point today.
30 for a
I'm
wide receiver is a depth sentence in dynasty. It's like good luck getting you his value after that.
wait. We gonna. I'm gonna write this down. I need to make sure we bring up your ageism at some point, and I'm gonna go do the best I can to dispel these myths that you have. Right. So I think it's about the expectation. I think Calvin really has the. It's a dirty word, but has the potential to be like a wide receiver 15, right? Especially if Trevor Lawrence makes another leap and becomes the elite quarterback he was touted as coming out. So if he becomes that and they become like a pass heavy offense, then I think him and Christian Kirk could be a wide receiver 15. I think Christian Kirk is going to lead that team in targets and
I do
receptions.
too, and that's what I was about to say. If I was anybody, I would bet on Christian Kirk and not on Kelvin Ridley. I'm not betting on any knucklehead person with mental issues. The man haven't played in almost 2 seasons. First, it was I'm not feeling. I'm not in the right mind space. I need to, I
You
need
got to be a little more sensitive to these issues,
to
bro.
take a seat. I'm having issues. Being a millionaire playing football is getting to me. And then
Mhm.
so you sit out almost the whole season. Then next season he get caught gambling. Well,
Mm.
that during his mental illness and mental health vacation, he get caught gambling.
Mhm.
So not only you claiming to have mental health issues, you're an idiot. Also, you're a knucklehead. So I'm not gonna bet
That's
on those
unfair,
folks.
man.
And you're old. So
He's not
you, you
old.
you can't even get called a young person making mistakes. If you was a rookie in the league, maybe like Williams, the boy from Detroit. Oh, it's just a young mistake. No, you 28. You 28 making these mistakes, homie. You a grown man.
He was a
We're
grown
claiming to
man.
have mental health issues.
Look, uh, I think it's a sensitive topic, but I will say this: um, when you're paying a guy millions of dollars, it's because you think he's reliable, right? Like you think he's gonna find his way on the field and he's gonna perform. And but if that doesn't happen, then then we start to question, okay, well, is he worth this? Is he worth this praise, right? No matter how much talent you got, if you're not on the field, it don't really matter. So I get that, but there's a human element to this that we often neglect in fantasy football. I think he's extremely motivated, right, to prove all the naysayers like yourself wrong. And a guy that is motivated is dangerous. He's dangerous, right? And I think he knows he has another shot to get one more big contract, but it's gonna take like a couple more years. It's gonna take this year and next year to get some really good production. And
Them
if
contract days are gone. Them big contract days are gone. You can
oh
flush
no, they're just starting. Look, no
that
one's gonna.
salary.
Listen. If he closes the season as a wide receiver 15 or wide receiver 12, no one's gonna give a. The people who write the checks, they're not gonna give a fuck about what happened in 2022 or 2021. All they know is that all they're gonna be
Look at his
locked in
age,
on
they
is what
will.
can. No, I mean, so you and okay, let's have this age conversation now then, because you keep bringing it up, right? So, you said something like running backs when they're 25 they go downhill.
Oh yeah, after their fifth season, and that's round the season they turn around 26. Go
Hmm.
downhill from them, man. After
Right,
their fifth season.
but if let's look at it like that, right? So if they're peaking, right? And even if they start to come down, if they shit still a little higher, if they're coming downhill still a little higher than everybody else, then who cares, right? So like I
Well,
think
there's only a few running backs that do that. Most of them, you
right,
really don't hear from them anymore. They fall and become backup running back somewhere.
Right,
That's what happened with most running backs.
right. And I'm not one of the type of guys who use the term elite loosely. Like I think elite is the very top tier. Like when you think about if you were to tear out your rankings of receivers, whoever's the elite is in that very top tier, and it might only be like two, maybe four,
Yeah, because most of the running
right?
backs that finished their first contract went to another team and became a backup running back. I think the only one what got is the running back one at their team. What Miles Sanders? The rest of them went to another team and became the backup or split back or whatever.
Um, I can poke holes in that, but I want to make sure
I
I
mean,
stay on
if
on,
they
on
didn't
that.
get re-signed by their own team, they went to another team and became the backup, or
Okay.
they plan on splitting carries. Would you consider David Montgomery the main back, or he gonna be the split back? I don't think you put him over Gibbs, do you?
I don't. I'm not. I'm talking about their raw production. I'm not talking about their fantasy football rankings, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if David Montgomery outscores Jameer Gibbs this year, just because of the way they like to
I
use
can see
running
it.
backs and how they like to use them in the red zone. And it's not going to be Jameer Gibbs in that red zone. It's just not, right? So, and what about Leonard Fournette? And what about all these like I said, I could poke holes in the argument, but the point is, if
Them
you are an
elite
elite,
running
if
backs,
you
some
if you are
elite
in
prospects. You mentioned it.
if you are an elite talent, you have a much longer shelf life than 25 years old. So, and you made this point too. You said Austin Eckler, Christian McCaffrey, these are great pass catchers. If they can if they can, if they can do well in the passing game, then that's going to extend their life. Now, Jonathan Taylor, do you think he's an elite talent?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. And Nick Chubb, we would say he's an elite talent. And Derrick
I
Henry, we would
haven't
say
seen him
he's an elite
at
talent.
all like that. I mean,
It don't matter. You know he's an elite
talent,
talent.
but not production. He give me so I don't want to say I don't. He haven't given me the production, so I can't call him an elite running back. I can say he's elite talent. I can't give him an elite running back. Can't give
All
him
right. Well. Tell me. Let's find a season where he wasn't a top 12 running back.
what the hell 12. So you think there's
Top 12. I'm
12
saying
elite running
RB
backs in
one.
the league?
No, no, no.
So
I'm
what does
saying.
that mean? Why would you go all the
I'm
way to 12 if you don't believe there's 12 elite running backs in the league?
no, no, no. There's not 12 elite running backs in the
Well,
league.
why
I'm
would you
saying
say let's see when he didn't finish top 12?
no.
How many you believe
But
elite? Let's go. How many times did he finish number one or number two or number
whoa,
three?
whoa, whoa. Wait. So there's a lot of guys who do that. Who hold on. There's a lot of guys who do that who I don't think are the best at their position, but their circumstances and situation line up that they can produce elite fantasy production. That doesn't mean like
Who
I
you
don't
don't
think
believe is a elite
I don't know.
elite talent at the position? There's not that finished top one or two.
Wait. Hold on. Let's make sure we understand each other. You said
Who
wow,
you
how
don't
many times
believe?
had Jesus Christ? You said how many times has he finished RB1? And I'm like, there's a ton of guys that finished QB1, RB1, wide receiver one, who I don't believe are the best at their position. Like I
I
don't think
said who you don't believe in elite talent that finished as the one at their position.
I'm gonna get killed for this, but I do not think Austin Eckler is an elite talent.
You don't want to believe that,
I don't think he is.
but he's a production guy, so I don't.
Because of value. But this is my point. Like his situation and circumstances line up, so he gets the elite fantasy football production. But he's not a better running back than Nick Chubb. Like he's just not. And
Well,
it's like that.
because who would I rather have? Though I would rather have Austin Eckler.
No, you would rather have Austin Eckler because of fantasy football. But if you're going to give both of them the football, you would rather have Nick Chubb. As defenses, who they would rather play. Like my point is, man, like there's elite talents that have longer shelf lives, and we got to be good at identifying who those elite talents are. We know Derrick Henry is. He's 29. We've seen him do it, right? Like we know Nick Chubb is. we see them like in all the advanced metrics and stuff like force missed tackles and all this other stuff, right? Like th- these guys are at the tippy top and consistent, and they have like the size threshold, the athleticism thresholds. Like, so even if they lose a little bit off of that, they're still like a lot better than 90% of the people that they're going to be playing against when they're 26, 27, 28. You just got to be good at pointing that out. And I've never ever been able to draft Nick Chubb or Derek. Like, so I'm not like or Derek. I'm just like not.
What you mean? You never been able to draft him? You never wanted to?
I mean, sure, but I just had other plans. I just felt like I
Yeah,
had a
because
better.
guess what? Since they're not catch catchers, you always have some other player above them. That's why you
And
don't.
I always regret it, and I always find myself trying to trade for them, right? Because we put sometimes we put too much emphasis on it, and it's just like um
Look,
not maybe not too much emphasis, like, but we would rather have a pass catcher than a guy that's not a pass catcher. But
well,
at
guess
some
what?
point,
Maybe he might get some passes this year. If they don't add another pass catcher to the team, it's all his. The backfield is all his.
he might not though. What if they give that to Jerome Ford or do something else? Like, he might not,
Jerome
but he's
Ford is like
still.
the same player as Nick Chubb. He ain't no superb pass catcher or nothing.
Well, I don't
I
know.
can
I
see if
don't
they
think.
decided to turn that Fulton kid, but I haven't heard a word about him. That Fulton kid that was a wide receiver in college.
Dimitri Felton.
Yeah, Felton. There you go. I can see if they
Um,
decided to turn him, but I haven't heard a word. So it seemed like Nick Chubb go get every bit of the work. If that's the
I
case,
don't think.
that would be dangerous. When I do believe he is an elite talent. I don't know. I don't know if I can give him an elite running back title because they don't give him just everything, but he is an elite talent. I don't
Wait,
ever
wait. See,
forget.
that's not fair.
You know what I
That's not
write
fair. What
down
you just said.
all the time? I write down never forget. 3 touches for 102 yards. Never forget. I never forget that. The first
Who's
time
that?
I didn't know who he was. This was before I was looking at college. I
Who's that?
said 3 touches for 102 yards, and my boy started him. He started him over me that game. He wasn't even playing on. He wasn't starting, but he started him in the position, and that man went off. And I said, I don't know who that guy is, but from now on, he the reason I start looking at college players
We talk
because
about Nick
he
Chubb.
started him, and I didn't know who he was. He started that man. I didn't know who he was. I said,
Who are
from
we
now,
talking about? Who's that man?
oh, I got another dude that I get on here and do stuff with. His name
No, not him. Who did he start?
no Nick Chubb.
Oh, Nick Chubb. All right, just wanted
Nick
to make
Chubb,
sure.
his first time on breaking out in on Browns game, he only went for 3 rushes for 102 yards. Three. He touched the ball 3 times. Just
He's
three.
a
And I
he's an
said,
elite
I don't
talent,
know.
man.
I said I would never be Duke like that again. I got to know every player that's coming in the league now. That's what started my journey of learning college players after Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb is the reason I've started learning about college players.
Yeah, man. I think so you agree he's an elite talent. It's up to us to figure out who those elite talents are and to make sure we don't ding them too much for being 26, or 27, right? And now let's transition over to receiver. You're calling Calvin Ridley old.
He's 28.
I
And
hear
he
you,
haven't
but how
played for almost 2 seasons. Yes.
I hear you, but how many 28-year-olds like finish as wide receiver once? Like the top 12, right? It
How
happens.
many
It's
finished as a
multiple.
wide receiver one? Not
I don't
many.
care. I don't care because we're not getting those players anyway. And if
You
we
know?
did, if like everyone, it's only one spot for wide receiver one, so I can't say like, oh, he's not gonna be a wide receiver one, so he's not worth anything. I just need you
But
to
I
score
ain't gonna
just
say he's
enough
not worth
points.
anything. For the people that's holding on like you, he's worth something. You know,
Yeah.
people like me, I'm trying to trade him to people like you. You know,
Well, we can work something out,
no,
maybe.
you're not gonna give me a first. At least give me a second and a third.
why why would I give you a first?
Why not? Because you believe he's elite talent. But give me a second and third.
I've never called him an elite talent.
Give me a
I
second,
literally
third. Are you
said
giving me a second and third or not?
it depends on what the makeup of my team look like.
You going
That's just the
for it?
truth.
You going for it this year? Or you gonna give me the second and third?
If I'm going for it this year, I probably don't have a second, and he's probably already on my team. but yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that. Like if I felt like if I felt like I needed more high potential wide receiver upside, then that's something I would do. If it's like a start 11, start 12, that's something I would do. And I would do that quick, fast, in a hurry because I just feel like at minimum he's going to give me wide receiver two production. Like at minimum.
I only own him in one league, and that's because it's a salary league, and I was able to pick him off the waiver wire last year, and I can
Hmm.
use him this year, and he only cost $1 since I took him off the waiver wire. So he's a cheap investment for me.
Right.
So just in case he do something, I'll get the benefit a little, just a tad little. But
I'm trying
what's
to
your
see how
thoughts
many leagues I
on
got him
Darren Wallen this year?
in. So when I saw this, I just put tight end two next to him.
Hold up, tight end two, like finishing 13 between 13 and 14 for tight ends? Or the tight
Nah,
end too?
yeah.
Okay,
So
I ain't mad at you.
so so tell me. I want you to tell me why he can't do it.
I said I'm not mad at you
Yeah,
because
but
guess what?
still, you gotta tell me
He's the
why he
best wide receiver on that team.
on his team,
So
right? And,
I'm
and
not
they went
mad
out
at
to
you.
get him,
But
right?
it's something in me, like, I don't know. After not it was the year before last, I just felt, I don't know, I felt some type of way about Darren Waller, and I just been off him. So I wasn't on him last year when I ain't own no shares when he played last year, and I felt good about that. But because I just was like, I don't know what's wrong with him. I don't know if he relapsing or what. He just don't feel right. So I guess
Hmm.
we'll find out because, like I say, he's the most talented wide receiver on that team, and we'll find out every bit of it. So
So I'm not sure. You know how people say, "Oh, like he checks all the boxes." Well, very rarely does a player check all the boxes. But as far as like tight end production is concerned, I don't know. I can't find the boxes he doesn't check. Like he has the size, he has the athleticism, he has the as a tight end, especially as a tight end, even as a receiver, there's something to be said about guys that earn targets, right? That are used to the ball coming their way. He has that, right? Like I don't does he have the opportunity? What do the other receivers look like around him? He has that. Does he have a competent quarterback? He has that. Like is the run this is important for tight ends. Is the run game a threat enough, right? Where you can get easy touchdowns as a tight end in terms of like, play action on red zone, something like that, where you're leaking out. Saquon Barkley. So yes. um is the coaching around you, are they competent enough to draw up schemes and plays to highlight you and to accentuate your talents? And I don't think that's a question, especially since like they went out to go get him, so they obviously have a plan for him and know what he can deliver. So if he finished as the tight end too, I wouldn't be surprised at all. But we need to start when we're talking about his potential. We need to start putting some respect on Wandell Robinson name too.
no. Um, but y'all heard it here first. Darren Wilder, league winner, going at the end of the fifth. I'm not putting no respect on a player that barely gave you a season of anything. A few games, not a season. He gave you a few games, maybe one. Didn't he have one good game? I'm talking about a few. Might have gave you one good game.
Yeah,
And he
he was
coming off an
injured.
injury. How you supposed to
Yeah,
give respect to a man coming off injury?
they saying like he's already fully recovered.
They're saying a lot of players.
I don't like it. Like I told you before, I don't like when we was talking about Cooper Cup. I was like, I don't like investing in players that's coming over an injury, major injury. But he's going so late in drafts. It's like, especially redraft. Like, why not?
Yeah.
I do think he's a dog though. He's just one of those.
I
Remember,
don't like short wide receivers. You
you don't
know.
like show wide receivers.
Yeah, I don't like wide receivers that's 5'8".
Oh,
Yeah.
I guess. What about 5'9"?
Feel a little better at 5'9", but 5'8", I if you ever look at my notes, it's red, a very red slash at 5'8", and there's a light red slash at 5'9". But at 5'8", it's real red. Like I really want you 5'10". That's what I'm saying. Want you at least
hmm
5'10", but I'm willing to go let you be at 5'9".
Where was Zay Flowers in your rookie wide receiver rankings?
Oh, pre draft, he was up there, but I had a bunch of questions about him.
For sure, for
He
sure.
had a high drop rate, and I have competitor questions. Like he instead of going to the Senior Bowl, the man went to that other the bowl where he was really gonna stand out. Like he didn't want to go compete at the Senior Bowl. He went. What's the other one? What's
Strongbow.
the Shrine Bowl? Come on. What are you doing at the
Um,
Shrine Bowl? And somebody had the nerve to say he was the best player there. Well, duh. I could have told you before he stepped on the field he was going to be the best player there.
I don't care about that. Maybe I should, but
And then
like
he went.
Jen,
Now he going to a horrible wide receiver situation. I'm off. I don't have no Zay Flower shares unless he failed to me. Like sometimes I had like the 11th pick of the first round, and he was just sitting there because nobody else wanted him. Like he the best value on the board. Let me take him. That's how I was.
right? I took Marvin Mims, but you already know that. um, but yeah,
Oh,
man, I think
oh, snap! You'll be surprised if I told you where I had him pre-draft.
wide receiver too.
Wide receiver 13.
Wow, pre-draft.
Pre-draft, bro.
Oh, that's hate. I had him wide receiver 5. So I had Jackson Smith and Jigba, Marvin Mims, Addison, Tillman, and Zay Flowers. Now, I just don't.
Jason Downs. That's who I was high on. Very high on Downs. And Addison, Quentin Johnson, and Mims.
Downs. I like Downs as a player too, man, but I had him as like wide receiver 9. I had Jonathan Mingo ahead of him. I had Trey Palmer one spot ahead of Downs.
God, I don't know where I'll have to scroll so far down to see Trey Palmer.
But your
17,
boy,
wide
your boy
receiver
Josh,
17.
your boy Josh Downs, like it's almost like he only played the slot. He's 170 something pounds, 175 pounds, 5'9", and he was not an incredible athlete. So it's just like, and he did play with an elite quarterback too. So I'm like, all right, well, I don't know how much of a difference maker he could be. Now I think if you're gonna regulate him to the slot, cool. But I think he went exactly where he should go.
If,
In
if,
terms of
if he would have went
real
in the
football.
second round, oh my God, I would have owned so many shares of him. But you already know, once you go in the third and below, you dead to me. You dead.
Yeah,
I don't own no shares of down. Everybody drafted him before I willing to.
yeah, for sure. I made that's somebody I made a Trey Palmer. That's the dude I made a point to get in
Oh, well, good
almost
for
every
you.
single
I
league.
own no shares of Trey Palmer.
You
None.
know, a bunch. I mean, we have taxi squads for a reason. So like in the draft, I'm when it come up to it, I'm looking for players. I'm higher on everybody else, but I know I can sit for a year or two and cash
Roster
in on a lot.
clogger.
It's not a roster clogger now. He's on taxi squad now. Year 3, when Mike Evans is old and
It's still
Godwin
on your
is
roster. Is how many spots you get on the roster? On your taxi squad.
4 or 5.
Yeah, see, that's a spot somebody else can be in. I'd
No, it's
rather
probably
have a
another
running
roster
back.
clogger.
I'd rather have a running back sitting in my taxi squad with no draft capital before I have one with low draft capital.
Wait, you rather have a running back with no draft capital than a
Yeah,
wide receiver who got picked in the 4th round?
yes, I would rather have Sean Tucker than him sitting on my taxi squad, no draft capital.
I guess.
That's how I keep from having roster cloggers, sitting there wishing they become something.
Baby, ain't no way you keeping roster cloggers off your roster. It's
You know.
just if you are, then your roster's not deep enough.
But I'm saying is it easier to make a decision on a wide receiver you feel didn't get a fair shake, or is it easier to make a decision to drop a running back without draft capital who haven't made it up the depth chart? It's a real easier decision for me while you're going to hold on. You're going to hold on longer than me.
So when I'm looking at that, I think that's a very valid point. Firstly, but I think like when I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, well, who has the easiest path to wide receiver 3? Right. So I need to see who's the wide receiver 3 on the team that they got drafted to, and like how great is that player? And the wide receiver 3 is Russell Gage, I guess. Right? Yeah, but I mean they're all veterans. I'm talking about the rookies that I'm comparing the wide receiver 3 to.
And I used to
Like,
think of stuff like that. I used to. But guess what I do know? Okay, by the end of the season, he makes it to the wide receiver 3. And in the offseason, they draft a wide receiver 2. And he's back starting again because they drafted one. They didn't got a veteran on the team, and now he's back at 5. It's like it's a
I'll
repetitive
draft
thing.
that guy then. I'll draft
I'm
that
not
guy
playing.
then.
I'm not in playing.
No, it's the same thing for running backs, though. Like, and they could,
But I
and the
said
running back.
it's easier to drop a running back though. I'm like, okay,
You said
bye.
it's easier to drop a running back?
It's easier for me to drop back if I need to. You know, I'm not going to sit there and be like, I don't want to drop them. I'm going to spam everybody to see if they want them. I just feel like he's too much value. You know that feeling because here's what. You don't want to drop a player, and then when you drop them, somebody pick them up and your feelings hurt. Somebody pick them up immediately and your feelings hurt.
That happened to me like last week. I forget who I dropped. I'm like, damn, I didn't know anybody wanted them. I would have given away for a 4th or 5th or something. But yeah. Oh, is it Albert? Wait, boot cam or something like that.
Yeah, just say Alberto.
I dropped him for, I want to say, a quarterback or something like that.
Was this a tight end Premier League?
Probably, but he's like the 4th tight end on my roster. I don't imagine playing him, especially since they traded for Adam Troutman. It's like, all right, this dude just like Sean Payton's getting his guy, Adam Troutman. I'm just like, all right, well, I didn't want to drop him because I just wanted him. So when he's on his next team, I don't have to worry about, competing for him. But as soon as I dropped him the next day, somebody else picked him up for $1. It's like,
the fastest tight end in this draft, and if he goes somewhere else, get a chance, and and
he was like 260.
So
it's different when you're the fastest tight end in your draft class and you 235 or something like that. Like your boy Elijah Higgins. Like, yeah, you're supposed to be the fastest one, but you 260? Oof, it's different.
Well, he was a wide receiver. They converted him, so it is what it is.
I'm coming around on him though. After our conversation, I'll give you credit for bringing me around on Elijah Higgins.
Well, I mean, when you start comparing them to other tight ends, he gonna kill their numbers because he got the production of the wide receiver.
Yeah, I was about to say it's a little unfair to make that comparison, but I was just starting to think of all the like raw athletes that did well after transitioning to tight end, and there's a lot of them.
I got a formula I do, and he met my formula like as a tight end 1 formula. So he has a chance.
You should have dinged him though. You should have dinged him in your formula because he didn't play tight end. You should have.
I don't because then I would have to ding. Then I would have to ding Waller.
Oh yeah, that's true. Well, dang Waller.
So, how you feeling about the Commanders' backfield?
Antonio Gibson. I'm not drafting no Brian Robinson, and I was high on him in his draft class. I was higher on him. I think I had him as like RB4. I think I had him as like RB4 or something coming out of that class, just because he's just like reliable, reliable Alabama running back who just.
Then what making you get on the Gibson train now?
He's a more talented player. He's like just as big, but I think bigger actually. I think Brian Robinson is like 220 something, and Gibson might be like close to 230s. But he ran like a 4.3. He was a converted receiver, and no, he's probably one of the best pass catching running backs in the league. But
You like to
he
throw
had
that
a better.
around with ease, huh?
I mean,
You
did
like
I
to
lie?
throw with ease.
Did I lie? Bijan Robinson? Did I lie? No.
I mean,
But the problem is that he had another converted wide receiver on his team to running back. Probably just as good at catching the ball as he is, and JD McKessick. And now that that guy's not around anymore, there's really like no one else in the way. And I think, and this is another thing about the human element that we ignore, right? So he had a fumbling problem, or the coaching staff got frustrated with him because of his fumbling, right? So they want to make sure that they have other running backs that they can rely on in the backfield. Um, and so when we watch him play and we see like him look amazing, it's just not to get too excited because they're going to take him out. They're not going to give him a workload that warrants his type of talent. But they have a new coach in now, and I think the only way that they can get Eric Bieniemy, who was in the circuit, I'd say, for head coaching jobs, to leave probably their best offensive coordinator job in the league. I think the only way they can get him to come over is to make sure he has control over the offense, right? Like you have complete and control over the offense. You call the plays, you have like you say who's starting and what their role is going to be. And when you have that, I think every single player on that offense gets a fresh start, right? It's like, okay, now this is the guy, like this coach is the person's going to allow me to get the fresh start, and this is his opportunity to prove to a new coach why he deserves um, more work, right? And even if like if you could get the Jerick McKinnon of last year, you still with me? I'm still with you.
you get the McKinnon of last year.
Yeah, if you could get the Jerick McKinnon of last year and just put that onto to Antonio Gibson, I think you cash in.
You got any hot takes for this season?
No, you gonna need to tell me, give me your feedback on what I just said, or what do you think about the Commanders' backfield? You trying to skate?
Staying away from it. I'm just staying away. I'm not really drafting any Commanders. Like I'm staying away from it. I do like what's the second wide receiver? Not McLaurin, but the other one. I do like him.
Dotson?
Dotson. Yeah, I like Dotson. I'm a Dotson fan.
Everyone likes Dotson. Everyone likes Dotson so much I don't like him
It's
anymore.
funny because everybody claiming they like Dotson 9, but they wasn't talking that the draft. Like I was getting a lot of Dotson, and I
So
was getting trade for him easily.
I had him as like the wide receiver 4 or 5 in that class, and then he came in at 180 and didn't run the 4.3. Rubbed me the wrong way. I dropped him to like I don't know, like wide receiver 8 or something ridiculous like that. But the Commanders saw the talent, man, and they didn't care, and maybe I shouldn't care either, right? I used to feel like, hey, if you're under 190, 185, and just like really small, I need you to have elite speed to warrant that first round draft capital. And just maybe I need to rethink that just because the league isn't like that anymore, right? Everyone's a lot more comfortable with investing a lot more in smaller players that are shifty that get open quickly, as opposed to bigger guys that just kind of outmuscle you for the rock. So I dropped the ball on that on that evaluation.
Now pre-draft, I had him at wide receiver 7. So I
Yeah,
mean, he wasn't far from me.
yeah.
I had Garrett Wilson, London, um, and the first 5 really could have went anyway because I had them in the same tier, but I had Olave number
Sounds like
3.
a
I
cop
kept
out.
telling people, look, I don't know how I feel about Olave, but I know he's not going to fail. I said he's the one wide receiver in this class I know is no way he could fail. No way. then I was like, I just felt I was strong about Olave, even though I didn't rank him, as one or two. I just felt real strong about him. And then I had Jameson Williams, Burks, Christian Watson, and then Dotson. A lot of people, I think next, even though I had him next, I wasn't as high on some people was on David Bell. People lost their mind on David Bell. Sky Moore was going way too high when after he was drafted by Kansas City. And people love them some George Pickens, but they never want to buy him high. When I try to sell George Pickens, but just the first, just give me a first, but nobody want to purchase him. But
They shouldn't do that though.
but they love the George Pickens.
Right. I mean, I wouldn't do that. I had him as my wide receiver too. I had Burks, Pickens, Olave, and then Garrett Wilson. And this one's a little shameful. But I had Drake London, Sky Moore after that.
Yeah.
I really feel like if Drake London
definitely shameful.
I really feel like if Drake London would have participated at the combine, there's no way he would have been the first wide receiver off the board.
You damn right he wouldn't. He was smart enough not to. He was smart enough not to do it.
Right.
You damn right. Because I waited. I really wanted to get them numbers. I wanted to get them testing results, and he kept pushing it back. I don't know if you remember. He
never ran.
It back.
He never ran. He didn't even have a private workout and ran a 40.
But he kept on pushing the pro day back until he couldn't push it back no more, and then he just went and caught some passes. I was like, dude, you didn't even have to hell no workout then if that was the case.
Right. I mean, they wanted to see that he was healthy, so I guess it counted for something. But I still feel this way. I still don't think he is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I still think he's probably wide receiver 6 or 7 in this class.
Woo!
I still got Burks ahead of him. I still got Pickens. I still got Burks ahead of him. Still got Pickens. Still got Olave. Still got Garrett. And probably Jameson. Jameson and Jahan.
You cannot put Burks ahead of him. There ain't no story you can string up to put Burks ahead of him.
I just think he's a better football player.
Huh?
I just think Burks is a better football player.
See, what did it for me, and because one thing that goes into my mind that I cannot purge out, I always look at the reception perception of the players.
Mm-hmm.
And when I seen it for Burks, I knew you could never be my top 1, 2, 3. It's just like he's so raw for his route running skills. They're like,
Yeah.
And they don't have the right offensive coordinator I guess exploit his talents because he.
I don't think that's true, man. All right. So I'll be trying not to be too combative, but I think it's probably good for the little good. Some bench is probably good for the views, right? Like again, watching this guy play when he was healthy, because remember, like the first couple weeks he wasn't very healthy, and like I think he had like an issue. I think he had another issue on top of that with like his breathing or something like that. Yeah. They interviewed him this year, and they said
bullshit.
It could be, but they said something about his asthma and like whatever. Who knows what it is, right? But I think they were playing the Packers when he was 100% healthy, didn't have no issues. But like when you look at the yards per route run data and that type of stuff, like damn reception perception. Like when he's on the field, they're trying to get him the ball, right? And I don't think.
And in college, they sort of got him the ball and didn't cultivate any route running skills.
Right, but even then, like he's doing the slants, right? He's doing a post. I remember in this. I think he's playing the Packers. He did a post. Guy on his back came down with the ball and got his head knocked off. This was a targeting call. It's like 40 yards down the field. Held on to the ball, and got the touchdown. And like a guy that shows you like that kind of talent That's something we should probably pay attention to, especially when the team is going out their way to make sure they're getting him the ball when he's on the field, right? And I don't think it's going to be the same for London. I don't think the team is going to go out their way to get London the ball when they have Pitts and they're trying to,
Well, I mean,
run the piss out the ball. That's what the head coach said. They're
I
trying to
would
run the
not.
piss out the
Oh,
ball.
I would not. It it would not surprise me if Burks do better than London as far as production wise. But when we talking about talent, I don't believe. He's. I don't know. I don't want to because I don't want to talk like I don't like Burks. I mean, before I got the athletic numbers and the reception perception, my in my notes I have highlighted in yellow. Look like Derrick Henry playing wide receiver.
Sign me up.
I mean, I thought he was my own one before the combine and all that. He was my one. I
What,
love
Burks?
Burks, but I also
Wait,
had
Burks was
wide
your one before
receivers.
the combine?
Huh?
Burks was your one before the
I
combine?
think so. Yeah.
Because he was my one before the combine.
But
And he
like I
stayed my
said,
one after the combine.
but I have five receivers in that tier, so it was easy for me to move them around. And
Right.
after the combine, and then it was Garrett Wilson for me. You know,
So I said to myself, I said if Traylon Burks, if he comes in around 220, as long as he runs under a 4.6, he's my wide receiver one. Because he was already my wide receiver one. I think like people wanted something more, but like the expectation is like I don't know what you guys expect. When you see him on when you watch him play, he's burning SEC corners and they can't catch
I
him.
had big
Like he's literally
questions on.
running a long like 70, 80 yards and he can't catch him. Like this is the Alabamas of the world and the LSUs of the world. Like he's burning them and he's jumping over them and catching the ball. So I didn't have any questions about his athleticism. I'm just like, just hit the threshold. Just don't do a 4.6.
Well, guess
If
what?
you're
Garrett
220,
Wilson ran a 4.38. That was the problem with that. You
yeah,
know,
but he was 180. Just remember this is you know what I mean? Like when you come in at 180, you're supposed to run the 4.3 to
I
me.
don't.
If you come in at 220, I don't care if you don't run the 4.4. Just don't run the 4.6.
That's fine because but he ended up being my one. And I have a lot of doubts on Drake London, but there was a lot of people smarter than me that kept on showing these different stats, and I ended up putting them as my two. I'm not mad at anybody that want Burks over London. I'm not mad at it. You know, if I felt if Drake London was in a better offense, I would feel better about him. But it is
I
what
need
it is.
to I need to be higher on Drake London. I think sometimes I get into I'm arguing against a player so much that I like subconsciously start to bring them
Yeah,
down.
because a lot of people be super high, so you find yourself arguing, and that's why I got to come back. I'll be like, "Whoa, I don't dislike Burks. I
Right,
always let you
right,
know. Don't get it twisted. I was whole
right.
high on Burks, like you know.
But wait, hold on. So let's play either or real quick, and I'm gonna let you go because I know you got stuff to do. I think. So would you rather have Drake London or Jahan Dotson?
Hmm. Unfortunately, since the community view Drake London,
Mm-mm.
Drake London higher, I got to go with Drake London. I got to go with Drake London.
So I can't even ask you these questions
For
anymore because
for
you're just
his
gonna go with whoever the
for the
community
price,
says.
I would take Jahan Dotson all day, every day.
Right. So basically, I can't even ask you these questions because you're just gonna pick whoever the community has higher.
Well, it depends on if I dislike the person. You gave me two people that I like.
That you like. You're right. That's the
So
point. So you're just gonna go with the community
well,
has
I
higher.
got it because I want to go where I can get more value from the player.
Okay,
So
but who do you think is
what's
gonna be
that?
more successful? Who's gonna have a more successful career?
It might be Dotson.
I think so too.
I hope I but there's a chance they can get from under this coach, get a more offensive minded coach and want to throw the ball, then everything changed. He fucking look like a superstar. Then all of a sudden Drake London come out here looking like a superstar.
So we can put both of them in the most perfect situations if that's what you want to do.
Oh, well, if that's the case, put them. If we put both of them on the Chiefs, I'm going with London.
Oh no, I'm definitely going with
I'm going with
Dotson.
London.
Dotson definitely having a better career.
I'm going with London then.
Uh, what about Pickens?
Pickens and who?
Who you think gonna have a better career?
Pickens and who?
London.
London. Easy. I don't like Pickens. I'm not a Pickens fan.
All right, I don't think so. We'll see. We'll see. Write that down.
Is that another player we need to check back in on? How
Yeah, I'm
long
about to
you
say,
been
write that down.
how long you been
Uh, I'm good. We can check in after 2023. Come see me in January.
I don't know what you looking for, Pickens. What you looking to do? What you
I
looking
just
for
think
him?
he
Like
gonna.
to
I just
have
think
more
he.
what? Like what are you looking for?
I just think he's gonna produce more.
I don't. If he do, it's gonna be barely, barely.
All right. Hey, there's a real. There's a non-zero chance that Pickens leads this team in targets.
You said a 9-0 chance.
Non-0% chance that he
Let's
leads
let's
his
let's
team in
let's
targets.
not do Pickens versus London then. Let's do Pickens versus Diontae Johnson then. How
No,
about that?
no. I have less confidence in that. Way less confidence to that. I just think like as I believe in the talent of George Pickens that I think he put the league on notice last year, but there's still too many naysayers because so many folks are just down on him because of the routes that he ran, right? Slants, I mean, go routes and back shoulder fades and stuff like that. But what you would you think that much differently about him if he caught more slants? Like, who cares? At some point, like if a guy's showing you he has the talent, unless you feel like the coaching staff is just going to refuse to use him in a diverse amount of ways, then I just don't get why people are so low on him when somebody's showing you. Like, how many highlight catches does he need to make?
Highlights. I mean, how much production have he done? I mean, having to me, I think he been more highlight than production.
Yeah, for sure. But like
I don't
that's
care
in the
about the highlights.
situation.
I don't care about
No,
Nate Robinson dunking if he can't put up 20 points a game.
right. So that's a horrible analogy. But so when you have a rookie quarterback and a Chase Claypool that's just in the way, and then those two things aren't there anymore, now it's up to the coaching staff to figure out different ways to use him. If they only use him as, to do go routes, then I think they're not doing it right. Right. And that's a possibility that happens. But if they only use him to do go routes, then that's what we're gonna get stuck with.
Who else you got for me?
Hot takes, Jerry Judy, wide receiver 12.
It's not that bad. Well, it's not really a hot take to me. If you saw how you was balling the second half,
But no one wants to put him there.
I
No
know
one wants to,
that's why he my wide receiver one. I'm
but
like,
that's
because I know he have a chance to be a wide receiver one.
if I was to, if so the thing is we always have 15 wide receiver ones in fantasy football. It just seems like no, or 20. It's like everyone can't be in here. So when you start thinking about the names we're gonna have to cut out, then it becomes prevalent. I mean, then it becomes clear, like, okay, do
Hold
we
up,
really
I'm
want to
looking
take
at
this
Pickens
guy
numbers.
out?
I might need to be higher on Pickens. I'm looking at his numbers. I might need to be higher on Pickens. He just wasn't
Go.
consistent, but he had a bunch of 14, 16, 18, 18. He had some games.
He's not too bad. He's not too bad. And I think he really I think his
I just
quarterback really
don't
likes him.
believe he better than Diontae Johnson. That's all. I just don't see it.
That's the most overrated player in the league to me. It's ridiculous. So all right,
But you
does
wasn't willing to go and bet me on Devontae Johnson versus him though. So obviously he can't be that.
because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I think. I know they're gonna pepper him with targets.
Why? If you
because
think
it's
you got
easy.
no talent, then why they go pepper Diontae Johnson? Because the quarterback don't got as much. He got the same connection he got with Pickens. So why? Why you
Wait,
believe that?
I don't think that's like if you watch these guys play, you know that Pickens when he just throws that shit up to Pickens sometimes. Like he just like George is down there somewhere. He don't do that with Diontae, bro. Like if he does that, it's planned out. Like they're looking for a certain type of spacing or something like that. With George, he just gonna put it in the area. Let me see what you're doing with it. Now hold on. Now to go back to my conversation about Jerry Judy being a wide receiver one. Do you think he outscored CD Lamb?
No. Even
AJ
though
Brown?
even though I feel like no.
Amon-Ra St. Brown?
There's a chance he could outscore AJ Brown in total points. I just don't think he will beat him in points per game. Who the other person you said?
Amon-Ra St. Brown?
Bruh.
Not in full PPR.
The
Not in full PPR.
problem
Not
is
with Jameson out.
I have no clue what we gonna see in this Denver offense. If I'm if I have no clue.
Okay, what about Garrett Wilson?
Hell nah.
Okay, cool. Jalen Waddle.
Hell nah.
Got two more names. T. Higgins.
There's a chance. He could outscore T Higgins. Yeah.
So T that was the last one, right? And then there's like Devontae Smith, DK Metcalf, right? These are the guys. Olave. These are guys that are projected to be.
He can
You know,
outscore them. There's a chance. That's he can outscore them.
I think you biased because you're on your team.
I said there's a chance.
Yeah, I'm saying I think you're biased because you have him on your team. Because I think most people would say like they don't see Jerry Judy outscoring those guys.
Well, if somebody just said I don't see it, they didn't look like I go look at the numbers and like I wasn't high on Jerry Judy. Somebody said, "Oh, he came on in the second half." Oh, let me go look at this. I said, "Oh, he did."
Yeah,
he
he
started
definitely
playing
did.
in the second half. Like,
Right. So in the same projections that I'm looking at, they got him coming at wide receiver 19. So I think jumping seven more wide receivers is probably not as hot. It's not the hottest of hot takes, but it's hot. It's hot because you think
yeah,
about
I
some of the
can see somebody
names.
else saying it. It's hot enough. I said, I
Yeah.
just for me, it's like, see it. Like there is a world that Sean Payton goes to Denver, changes everything around, and Russell Wilson is back to his old form, and that offense is playing very well, like a well-oiled machine. There's a
What if
storyline of that.
Marvin Mims puts Cortland Sutton on the bench?
Well, if it from how Sean Payton be sounding, it's somebody he don't like. It's either Cortland Sutton or Jerry Judy. One of them he do not like.
It could be Tim Patrick. Tim Patrick getting paid. Tim Patrick is getting
I don't know
paid to
why
be a wide
somebody
receiver
always
for.
mentions Tim Patrick. We know unless they forcing him out there, he ain't gonna deserve to be on that field.
He getting paid. So like one of the guys is getting paid
How
is
much
gonna
he
have to
getting
move.
paid?
I don't know, but I know they re-signed him. I want to say like 10 million a year, which is like when you think it, which is for a wide receiver 3 or 4.
Denver just got too much money to waste. That's what it is. They just got too much money to waste, must be.
That was before they signed Russell Wilson. Oh wait, let me see. Well, I sent you this podcast. Yeah, he getting like 11 million.
Yeah,
But I sent you this.
guess what? I've
This
never heard of this podcast. Is Emery Hunt on here?
your boy Matt Harmon was a guest on the show.
Okay, yeah.
So and he talks about reception perception and Traylon Burks' outlook. They talk about all the year two wide receivers and what the outlook looks like. And I think it's like some
You
really
feel
good
better about him
information.
this year because the first year he was like, "Oh, this guy is raw," and
Nah, he's still raw. He mentions that he's still raw, but I'll let you listen to it. But I definitely want to talk to you about it after you listen to it. So yeah, his temporary cap number, he's making like 11 million to be a wide receiver four. Like something's got to give, right? Like him, Cortland Sutton, something's got to give. You can't pay all those guys, especially since you're drafting, Marvin Mims in the second. It's kind of like drafting George Pickens in the second when you have Diontae Johnson and Chase Claypool, and you got to pay Chase Claypool or let him go for free. So you trade him and let the next man pay him. And I think it's kind of like if one of them get traded before week 8, I won't be surprised. But that's it. I'm all out of hot takes.
Rondre Stevenson finishes as the RB3.
Why won't he?
Okay, the RB1 then.
Okay, but why won't he? I don't think he gets the passing value this year.
Oh, who you gonna throw it to?
Ty Montgomery.
How old is Ty Montgomery?
It don't even
I
matter,
haven't
bro.
seen this man. I don't even know when the last time I seen him play.
It don't even matter. It don't even matter because like again the human element. These coaches don't care how old players are. They just want people that they can rely on.
He played in week 1 of last year.
Right.
I think Bill Belichick will find out he is old and dusty real quick. Real quick. Old and dusty, and they're gonna put all give old boy all the work. Running back 3. Running back 3. I want him in every redraft league.
That is hot. That is a hot take. I give you that. And it's not impossible. I like that take. I like that as a hot take. But he has to get the same passing value.
I don't know. I don't know how high you was on him when he came out, but like if you saw my notes, you would see I was pretty high on him. Like it wasn't that many people that was high on him when he was coming out. I don't even remember what year. Okay, that was the 21 season. This is what I put. I have this highlighted in green. Give him a good old line, and he will be one of the best running backs in football. People thought I was crazy when I said that. He went to a perfect situation, and you run
He
young
didn't
man.
go to a perfect situation.
He went to
It's
one.
just
I'm
like
talking about
so
the
many
good old
things
line.
happen.
I'm talking about the good old
Oh,
line. That's what I mean. I ain't gonna say the
right,
perfect situation. He went to a good old line. That's why I needed him to get to. Because I already know what the Patriots gonna do. Patriots gonna run him out that contract and then left his ass in the pest. You can go if you're searching for money, you gonna go somewhere else. But they
right.
will get their work out of him.
Dude, this is ugly. I had Trey Sermon over him, Michael Carter.
No, I ain't mad at you there. I don't know what I had him post on pre-draft. I'll have to look for that ranking pre-draft. Because I
This
was
is
high. I
ugly.
was probably high on Trey Sermon. That was a disappointment. That was a disappointment. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Yeah.
8. Yeah, I mean, I have the same as you. I had him at running back 8.
Mm-hmm.
I just had like I have different marks. He didn't hit none of my marks that I like. It's just that's what I seen when I seen on tape. I was on film, and I was like, "Whoo! I know I'm gonna be higher than anyone." I said, "If I seen this on film, I know I'm gotta be higher than anyone on Ramondre because I didn't hear nobody talking this highly of Ramondre."
Right. I like it.
But
You got another one?
nah, and I just came out with that off the fly of my head. I said I was gonna let you run with the hot takes. I
Right.
was go. Well,
I need to say Desmond Ritter, QB8.
this is not a hot take, but Lamar Jackson, quarterback 1, QB 1.
You're right. It's not a hot take.
It's not a hot take.
I thought you was gonna say something like negative.
Nah,
Yeah,
no.
definitely not a hot take. It can't be a hot take if you did it already. But I don't. I know, like, no one would bet their money on that, right? Like, no one,
All
no
right.
informed, no informed fantasy football players should bet money that he won't be. You know.
Ramondre Stevenson finishes at the RB3, right behind B. John Robinson at the RB2.
I like it. I think why that's yo. Bijan could be RB1. If Bijan was RB1, we wouldn't be surprised.
Other people talking like it ain't no way.
I don't see why not. Like everyone that's ahead of him is either older or has running quarterback.
So we go find out. I
We
say as
gonna
long as he
find out.
healthy, I just see points adding up. I just see points and points adding up. They gonna run the ball. They gonna run the ball, and he gonna be running.
Right, right. All right, brother. I gotta go.
Well, all right,
She just
brother.
being nosy. She just being nosy.
We need to try to make this either a weekly or a bi-weekly thing.
Yeah, I was talking to my wife, and she was like, "Why don't I just make it a regular thing?"
And guess what? When you commented, I went to the channel and saw you had a little show going on years ago. I saw.
Yeah, and she, because I was telling her, I was like, "Yo, me and Ro, we're gonna do this, fantasy football podcast," but we weren't consistent. And I think like that's the main thing you got to do is be consistent. And I think if I had somebody else that was like just as passionate as I was, then it'll be easier for me to be consistent. Not to absolve myself of any accountability, but um, I feel that energy from you, right? And like regardless if it pops or not, you just got to be consistent, and eventually something will happen. So yeah,
Yeah, cause I be having homeboys. Like I said, other homeboy I got, he'll have a test come up at his job, and he'll just like, cause he was a big Cowboys fan, and I wanted to, I was like, let's do this Cowboys podcast because there's a
yep,
galore of Cowboy fans. So you get to show your love of Cowboys. I get some views. It's perfect. You're like, and for the first time, I don't have to speak ill about the Cowboys. I just be like, I could just be
yeah,
partial, just be like, hey, and he wasn't being consistent. I'm like, bro, I got to the point I was like, bro, whenever they play a game, just write down, just give me your reaction, 5 minute reaction, and I'll use that, and I can carry the podcast. Wouldn't even do that. I'm like, bro. And then
yeah,
after all that, dude, like, oh, we need to start back about nigga.
yeah. It's quiet.
Like,
You
get out
folded
of
on me once. Yeah, it's quiet. But no, if you're serious, man, let's But if you're serious about you know just doing something regular with me, I'll send you over like just potential talking points, right? Or show topics, and just send it over to you, and you can include them or not include them, or save them for another time, or whatever the case may be.
here. Yeah. So just let me know if you want to do it weekly or bi-weekly. Which one you prefer? I guess
Let's do weekly.
we do it bi-weekly since it's the off season, man.
It is the off season. There's not a
Yeah.
lot to talk about right now. But in terms of, if for listenership, you definitely want to do something weekly. You
Yeah,
know,
I always throw something up on the channel, whether it be some little player profile or something. I throw something up.
yeah. All right, boss. I'm try to get this together. You let me know. When's the next time? We're gonna do every Tuesday, uh, 7:30 or
Well,
whatever the case
it's
is.
either Mondays or Thursdays for me. Like
Oh, oof, I'm gonna have to go with Monday then.
yeah. So and that works because ain't nothing going on at the house because my kids be having all kind of stuff I need to get them to and shit. So,
All
but
right,
all
bet.
right, man, go
So Monday, 7:30.
be with your wifey. I'll holler
All
at you in a couple weeks then.
right, brother. Take care.